Being the parent of like a little kid, I think has gotten a lot harder than when I was raising my daughter. She's 23 now, and man, I got to tell you, the decisions you have to make and the things you have to monitor and protect your children from today has gotten a lot harder. What do you give them that's still entertaining, but also aligns with your values? You know, we've talked about WayFM being a product that you don't have to filter, but like if you got Netflix in your house, you got to have the filter on.
And even Disney Plus, you have the same problem.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, Disney Plus has been disappointing to me as a parent. And some of the things they've chose to put on there, and like you got to watch it, you know? And that's why it's so nice to have something. If I was raising little kids, I would do PureFlix subscription, man, because you've got content on there that you're not having to filter out. And as a parent, I mean, I know we want to be involved in our kids' lives, but sometimes you need to park them in front of the TV and take 10 minutes to yourself. That's why PureFlix is a great option for families. You got family stuff, obviously. They're even dabbling in some drama. Yes, and PureFlix originals. Like I saw the movie on their Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, and I have to tell you,
you cried.
I did. There was 3 times, not once, 3 times.
I did.
I wept, and I was moved, and it was a great movie. And I think if I was raising my child now, I think PureFlix would be definitely a part of my family's entertainment plan.
So if you'd like to try PureFlix, text PURE, that's PURE, to 91979 to get your 1-week free trial. Faith and family entertainment with no ads on your favorite devices.
Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the things we didn't get to during the course of the show. Fresh off of a potty break, both Gavin and Betty ready to do this thing. Nicely done. Let's go through the day in the life of a day off with Betty Rock. What does that look like, Betty?
It involves sleeping late and just letting your natural
clock rhythms.
Yeah, just wake you up when it wants to. It also involves opening the door and then taking time to pet the kitties.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so Beans and Gilly coming to my door.
What time did you get dressed on your day? Because Betty Rock was off Monday, and then she's here today, obviously. So what time did you finally get dressed?
Never.
Oh, really? You did all day, like in jammies at the house, and never left?
No. Well, I left to get food.
In jammies?
Yeah.
It's a drive-through. Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Who says you have to dress up for a drive-through? Who's going to see you?
I don't know. You might find somebody. Meet a man.
Cute.
The man of your dreams in a drive-through. Yeah.
He'll accept me.
I dated a girl from a drive-through once when I was in high school. I saw
How'd that pan out?
I don't know. It was fun for a while. I saw this girl in the drive-through and thought she was cute, and so I drove around 3 times through the drive-through. And on the
creepy.
and on the 3rd time I asked her out, it worked.
Did you ask her out the other 2 times?
No. Yeah,
She kept saying no.
Yeah, I just wore her down. That's usually my MO.
She's like, fine.
Yeah. And so then that was it, though, for yesterday, huh? But it felt good for you.
Yes. I read my book. I puzzled.
What puzzle
TV.
are you working on?
It's like a fall one.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Like a little old lady. That's what I did.
Betty Rock is back and ready for the show today. We'll get caught up on some of the stuff. Do you remember that weird story of the pastor who was live streaming his sermon? And he was in New York and he got robbed at gunpoint. Do you guys remember that?
No.
Because he got robbed of like millions of dollars?
$1 million of jewelry.
Yeah.
He and his wife got robbed of during the sermon. And it's really weird. Well, they finally, here's the update. They caught the 2 guys that robbed him. And the whole time I'm thinking he's in on it. Because how would these guys know this guy had that much money, that it's real jewelry, to risk robbing somebody in front of everybody on a Sunday and in front of the Lord? And so I thought it was an inside job. Like maybe you pretend it's stolen and then you cash in the insurance money like a scam. But he dispelled the rumors of that now that these guys have been arrested. And my family and my church family have been very traumatized. We are just hoping for justice. And I have to say, man, is the crime that he was robbed of $1 million of jewelry, or that he was wearing that much bling to church in the first place?
Well,
that's excessive.
I believe that part of the equipment that he was wearing was partially I thought it was partially owned by the church. Like it was like the church diamond cross thing that the pastor had or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But still, even for a church, if you were to say criticize even a church for having that much in jewelry.
That's like Knights of the Templar stuff, you know? Like that, that's crazy. It's really weird. Like I had a conversation with somebody the other day. We were talking about pastors and making money and stuff like that. I forget what was the catalyst for that, but a friend of ours who doesn't spend time in church was like, boy, is that wrong for them to be paid so well? And it's one of those things, it's a really weird thing for pastors, because I believe it's a 24/7 job. You know, they're always on call, whether it's vacation, whatever. They try to disassociate and separate and take time off, but they're always on call. So it should be a well-paid position, you know. But I think you're basically kind of bound by your church. You know, if your church is a very affluent area, then you're probably going to make more money. If your church isn't, then you're going to make less money. You're kind of consummate with what your church is. You know, you probably shouldn't make as much as the highest paid person in your church, but you probably shouldn't make what the lowest paid person makes either. So probably maybe take the median or so. I don't know. It's always a weird area for pastors.
You definitely have to be called into it, because it has to be draining to have to try and please everybody.
Oh yeah, because and no matter, it's like a politician. No matter what you do, half your congregation is going to be upset with you, and half are not. You know,
yeah, and you just can't make a mistake. Well, you know, obviously we're humans and we make a mistake, but you're under the finest microscope of every last person in the church as well.
Yeah, working in churches is not easy, and so I don't have a problem with pastors getting paid. I know the people at our church get paid well, and the crazy thing is it survives off of the 3% that tithe, you know, and that's the amazing thing. And it's just like the radio station here, it survives off of roughly the 2.5% to 3% of people that listen keep Way FM going. It's if more people gave to church or to in tithing or to Way FM. A little. I mean, support drives would be like half the time, if that. You know, if we could just increase that number, it'd be fantastic. We'd all like to see that go down. You know,
right?
Speaking of money, there was a man in Georgia found guilty of laundering money, but he was also charged with scamming vulnerable people on dating websites. He got sent to 25 years in prison. The problem on the dating website is this guy is named Elvis. There you go. Problem one. If you're on a dating website and there's a guy named Elvis, you know he's probably going to leave the building with your money. There were 13 victims of the romance fraud that testified during his trial, and one of them said she was convinced to send him nearly $70,000, and she met him on eHarmony.
Oof,
How does that happen, man?
Here's what it is. I think this is what it is. Women that, I would say most women, not all, so don't start emailing me. Most are in a place of desperation, and they will do whatever it takes to keep that person because they're lonely.
Right.
And they have missed out on that part of their lives.
Right.
That's why it is so important. It is so detrimental to find your identity in something else other than finding human love.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. I think that when you are so desperate for something, it makes you make decisions you wouldn't make otherwise if you had more of a rational thought about it. Kind of, if you were looking at it from the outside, if you had a friend that was like, yeah, I met this guy online and he asked me for $70,000, you'd be like, no.
Well, and where was this woman's friends or her family?
Yeah.
Like, and if this was
They're
something
elderly,
that
I bet.
Maybe, or it could have been that she was embarrassed to tell them, and then that's a red flag too. So it's just sad.
Like Yolanda with the Williams from 90 Day, or from it was 90 Day Fiancé. The Williams, because you wonder how they get to that point where you're actually going to send money to somebody that you've never met.
$70,000 worth of money.
One of the scammers claimed that they would start a life with their victims, but that couldn't happen until this issue was resolved that required a large amount of cash. So that's usually what it is. There's usually like some problem that if you just help me with this, then we can have this great, full, wonderful life and we can be together and we'll actually meet now. But I got to get this taken care of. And I feel so bad for people that get scammed like that. Because they're not bad people. They just want love, and they'll do anything to get it. And sadly, they fall for this kind of stuff. What do you got, Lady Rock?
Well, mine is about a New York University teacher. So he was claiming that his students weren't paying enough attention. They weren't watching the videos they were supposed to, weren't getting the exam questions right. He teaches chemistry. He's a professor
That's
of
not an
chemistry.
easy class. That's a hard class.
And students that are going to be taking chemistry typically are going to be wanting to get in a line of work that's medical. So it's important that they know their chemistry. Well, so many students were complaining about how hard his classes were that people started actually looking into it. They said that the students said that his classes were causing them to deal with panic attacks and anxiety, that they just couldn't handle it. They were miserable. So he has actually been let go.
What?
Because his classes were
too hard?
Too hard.
That seems a dangerous message to kids too.
Well,
though.
that we're going to end up with doctors that don't know anything because the exam was too hard.
I hope that it was probably a process that was looked at by people who understand like chemistry, like other professors at the
no
university.
One could know this.
And like could understand. And it also depends on like what level that course was. Cause at school you do have 100, 200, 300, 400.
Right.
And if it's 400, that should be like the hardest stuff that you take. And you probably should struggle through it. But if it was like a 100 level course and he was teaching 400 level work, then I can understand that. But hopefully the process was a smart process that they went through to let him go.
It says that the professor that was let go, he has written 225 papers in his 40-year career. And he literally wrote the book Organic Chemistry, which weighs in at 1,300 pages.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pounds.
Oh, wow. That is a lot of reading.
That's a lot of writing.
And it's not easy reading either, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got a communications degree. Like, that is easy. People are like, was college hard? Absolutely not. Now, if you in that chemistry track, is college hard? Absolutely, you know.
Did you deal with anxiety? Or panic attack?
No, I had the easiest. I mean, I was a communications degree. We were just goofing off anyway.
I was a media and cinema studies major. There was homework?
Now, like, I get it when you have a class that you have to pass and you're trying to protect your GPA. Like, I get all of that. If it was just difficult but fair, then no, that's ridiculous. Deal with it, you know, and you should pay attention in class. If you're looking for an easy class, then no. But if he made it so bad that only, 0.5%, like 1% of the people are going to actually keep their A or something, then maybe that's a little much. They probably could have found some middle ground, but it doesn't sound like he was given at all.
And it's hard because colleges do want to be able to like pad their stats in terms of like our students have a 3.9 average GPA, and if
they all graduated,
this one guy's just like bringing it down with his chemistry class. I can understand even the university deciding to make a business decision, even if it's bad for future doctors not knowing the stuff they need to.
It's great because Betty talked about like how, if they're future doctors and they don't know chemistry, then they're going to be bad at it. It reminded me of, I got a chemistry kit when I was a kid. I think this is when my mom still had hopes for me. And so I got this chemistry kit. And the crazy thing is it came with chemicals. Like, what? And it came with instructions.
Nice.
And you were supposed to follow the instructions and you could do all these little things. No! Are you kidding me? You hand a kid like me a bunch of chemicals and a book, first thing I'm going to do is try to burn the book, which I did.
How can I explode something?
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole thing. I was taking all these miscellaneous chemicals and just trying to mix them together to try to blow stuff up, man. But that would be me in chemistry class. I did set a chemistry class table on fire too. I had biology.
Is it a Bunsen burner?
It was a Bunsen burner, but
let me guess, you were trying to impress a girl.
Probably. The Bunsen burner. Okay, so you'd light it from the top, and it would heat the beakers and stuff like that. But it had a valve at the bottom that you could adjust the height of the flame. Well, I took the valve out, so that meant gas was leaking through that side, and I lit it down there. It shot across the table, and the table had like grease on it from dissecting things or whatever, and set the table on fire. And I got in a little bit of trouble for that one.
It's amazing how schools let kids do that.
The worst nightmare.
Yeah. Or the most fun.
No. A nightmare. No.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Hey, speaking of growing up and having birthdays.
Nice segue.
Thank you very much.
Very well done.
Let's see. Megan wants to wish her daughter Leah a happy birthday. She's turning 7 today. Happy birthday, Leah. She said she loves dinosaurs and wants to be a
Paleontologist
paleontologist when she grows
Ross
up.
from Friends.
Yeah.
Wonder if she'll have to have a chemistry class.
Yeah, I hope if she has a class that they make it easy for her.
Her birthday is extra special because she shares it. Woo, that's a lot. Because she shares it with her great grandpa, who is 82 today.
Nice. Well, happy birthday to both.
Yes. Let's see. We've got a question from. Okay, this one is from Rebecca, and it's kind of serious.
Okay.
So buckle up.
I haven't done that in a while. That's fine.
Her question is, how do you let go of resentment?
Oh.
Do you let go of resentment?
Yeah, if somebody figures this out, let me know. That's a tough one, man. Like, because it depends on the hurt. Some hurt is bad. Yeah. And you understand people being stuck in that place of not being able to forgive it and move on. Mm-hmm. And other stuff is really not that bad. I think you have to assess, first of all, okay, was this really an egregious thing? Was it done on purpose? Or am I being overly sensitive? That's a lot of mine. And I think for actually moving on, that's where I think the faith component of it comes into, where you have to be like, all right, God, I'm still frustrated about this. I'm hurt by this, but I can't live in it. I can't dwell on it. I have to accept that you know the situation and you'll handle it one way or the other. And I have to be okay with however you choose to accept it. Now, all of that is great theory. I see Betty looking at me. Fantastic theory. I know what to tell people. I just don't always subscribe to it. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. And I think, too, that letting go of resentment won't be just a one decision and you're done. It's not flip a switch and then you're just letting it go. Yeah. I think it's a daily process. You may find yourself in seasons where it's easier to let go and in other seasons where it's a lot more difficult.
I had a coworker that I worked with, and our partnership ended really badly. And I was so angry about how everything went down and stuff like this, and nervous or had anxiousness about it. And if I would see a car like his drive after our partnership ended, I would get stressed instantly, like, because I was and mad, like, oh, I would, and I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna let it go, and I'd see a car, and it would all come rushing back. So I had never really fully let it go. I think that's the thing, like. You're talking about you have to keep coming back to it a lot of times because it's a process, and you can judge it pretty quickly by how quickly it comes back, the intensity that it comes back. And if it's really hard and fast, maybe you haven't fully let it go like you think you have. And that's where you have to look at you and be like, all right, am I really still holding on to this?
Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think, too, that resentment is a place of pride. So we know that when it comes to our faith, humility is what God is looking for. But that is, like Wally said, that's really difficult when the hurt is substantial. Mm-hmm. So our best advice is let go and let God.
Or learn to channel that hate and resentment to something good.
Or take up like axe throwing or boxing to get out your anger.
Find yourself a good friend that you can voice your frustration to.
There you go. All right. Well, I don't think we've changed anything. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that costs money.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Back to axe throwing. Yeah. That's actually not as cheap as you
animal.
think. There you go. All right. Well, I think that's going to have to do it for our Aftercast. We're going to go upstairs and talk to Walker Hayes from the Applebee's song today, which is kind of fun.
That's what he wants to be known
I know.
for.
It's like, yeah, I'm a serious country artist. You're the Applebee's guy.
Sometimes it takes a TikTok song to break out, though.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a good one, too. So, all right. It's called Fancy Like, by the way. And so I'm reminding myself for when I interview him and I don't go, okay, so the Applebee's song guy. So we're doing that today, which is kind of fun because he has this really cool song about coming to faith and this guy that showed him love and kindness, and he wrote a song about it. And so we're actually going to talk to that guy too, as well as Walker. So that'll be on the show and on the Aftercast and stuff in the coming weeks when we get it done. But as always, thanks for being a potty.